everyone, good morning. My name is Kopal Tyagi, and through my YouTube channel, I'm going to be talking about my MBA journey from start to end, which I'm very happy to share has finally culminated in me getting into a college of my preference. I know that this entire journey of going through for an MBA, right from the exam to the interviews and the SOPs, can be very daunting and very exhausting for MBA aspirants. But please hang in there as I try to make your life a little easier. And please give me a lot of support and love as I try to start this new channel. So let's get right into it without further ado. I think the one question that almost every MBA aspirant faces is which exam to give, GMAT or GRE. While both of these exams are widely recognized and accepted by many business schools, there are certain differences that one must be aware of before actually choosing which way to go. So GMAT is more focused on business applicants, whereas GRE is a little bit more open and is accepted for multiple graduation programs. So if you are still in a little bit of a fix and you don't know where to go, whether to do masters, whether to masters in finance or masters in management or anything else, and between an MBA, GRE is an exam you can give that will help you keep your doors wide open to all master's colleges abroad. Um, GMAT is a little quant heavy in terms that it dive into data sufficiency questions, into graphical interpretation questions, etc. So if that is not really your forte, then maybe you could rethink giving GMAT. GRE, on the other hand, is a little bit more vocab heavy. And if you are someone who doesn't really like to memorize a lot of things, then maybe this is not cut out for you because approximately 50% of GMAT's verbal reasoning section is dependent on how well you do with the vocab. So vocabulary is very, very important and is heavily tested in GRE. Let's talk about its time and pattern. So GMAT is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, whereas GRE is 1 hour and 58 minutes long. GMAT constitutes of 3 sections, which is the quantitative reasoning, the verbal reasoning, and data insights, which is all of 45-minute each, and you get a 10-minute break in between, which is completely optional. GRE, on the other hand, is again divided into 3 parts, big main parts: analytical reasoning, section 1 and section 2. Under section 1, you have two portions. One is verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning. Verbal reasoning is for 18 minutes and quantitative reasoning is for 21 minutes. Once section 1 is done, you move on to section 2, which again has a quantitative part and a verbal part. Verbal reasoning is for about 23 minutes and quantitative reasoning is for about 26 minutes. All right. Now let's talk about the pattern. So GRE is section adaptive, whereas GMAT is question adaptive. And this is something very important to consider because if you are someone who likes to go back to a question and rethink while you're solving the other questions and when you are in that zone and doing them in a flow, GRE is better for you because being in that section, you can go back and navigate to whichever question you want. Whereas GMAT, on the other hand, is question adaptive. So once that question is gone, it's gone. You don't get to see it back again and go to and fro if you want to. However, there is a 30-second, I believe 30-second to 1 minute timer in GMAT also, where you can go back and change the option if you want. But in my opinion, it still doesn't give as much flexibility as GRE does. So depending on what kind of a person you are, I mean, I was always someone who got the answer right on the second attempt. So if I've gotten stuck somewhere, that calculation or that thought would keep running in my subconscious, and almost every time that I would come back to that question, I would get it right. Therefore, GRE worked wonders for me. But if you are someone who was like, I have done this question, I'm confident I'm going to move on, then GMAT is the better option for you. So you also have to understand your temperament as a person and pick between the two. It's very important information to keep in mind, which almost really nobody talks about. And it's just my personal insight, so thought of sharing it. All right. So now your choice, as I was mentioning, completely depends on your strength. My strength was the fact that uh, reattempting that question, just going back to that question and thinking even for a couple of seconds would get me the right answer. That's why GRE worked. But if you are not that kind of a person, maybe GMAT works for you, right? If you like flexibility in choosing the number of programs, maybe GRE works for you. But if you're very cut out, very sure you want to do an MBA, then GMAT works for you. Um, I prepped for about 2 months with official materials and, of course, third party courses. And I'll be dropping a detailed prep plan of my GRE journey in the next episode. I could also do my GMAT journey, whichever one you guys prefer more. Um, and I think the bottom line here is that pick the test that works best for you, and you will only know which test works best for you depending on the mock test. I will link the description down below to go to the official mock tests of for both GMAT and GRE. Give both of them, see which one you found more intuitively easier to follow and had a little bit more fun with in engaging with the types of questions that were presented. And whichever one you liked more, of course, is the one that you need to take up and you must take up. Well, yes, that's it for today. And in the next video, I'll be walking you through my actual GRE prep schedule, the materials I used, the websites I used, and what I would do differently if I had to start all over again. So please let me know in the comment section below which one are you leaning towards more, whether it's GMAT or GRE. And stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe as I bring up more informative videos for you guys. Thank you.